Oh, this. It's nothing. That's not bad. Don't want that though. Exactly. Alright. So, can you hear me? Tell me if you can hear me. And all that. Sorry, there's a shitload of windows open. Gotta close these. If you can't, let me know. Alright, so let's start off by saying I don't think Robespierre is a good person, and me saying I aspire to be him is like tongue in cheek saying like this is a very extreme version of who I aspire to be, you know.
Now
but
entering the temple of
the reason I like Robespierre is he. I suck at every character in this game now. I'm not paying attention. Practice, whatever, I'll practice this character.
attack.
Anyways,
30 seconds.
for one, he
For a good fight.
closed tabs so that it wouldn't take up unnecessary CPU power. For another, he would turn down the graphics, so you know, CPU would further be improved. So it applied, damn it.
4, 3, 2,
So those are some great things that he did. But more importantly,
capture objective.
he was very, very, very dedicated to the whole liberty, equality, fraternity thing in France. So the thing about slavery you brought up, yeah, like I think he did sincerely want the freeing of slaves, but he didn't start off like that, and it's hard to decipher the divorce, his political aspirations with his, you know, acts at that point. Robespierre, yeah, I know. I'm horrible at it. But, you know what? Fuck this character. Anyways, more importantly, I'll call him Robbie for now. How about that? So I don't embarrass myself.
Lock it off.
Enemies detected.
More importantly, so he was very into the ideas of revolution, especially the idea of universal suffrage, which not many people at the time were actually for, and that's a big thing. So, those support. Okay, whatever. Don't know what that means. Except for the people who didn't like him, so yeah, so that was the thing I don't like about him. But I think what he recognized, although he took it to such an extreme that it's ridiculous, is the idea that there are active anti-revolutionary elements in this country that need to be purged. Now, his method of purging is my main beef with him, you know. Obviously, there were actual anti-revolutionary elements. There were so many rebellions in France at the time. So, you know, on one hand he killed all these people, on the other hand, unlike the majority of dictators, there actually were, you know, fuckers trying to bring down the new state, rather than, you know, imagined. But yeah, he killed them. Like, there's no getting around it. I'm not going to, you know, whitewash the horribleness of what he did. But I think what the liberal movement in America right now needs is this divorced from this like intellectualism that has followed us since like the 70s, and 80s, like very very contrary universities, and I think also that's part of why like people hate social justice today. Is that yeah, I know, I understand what you're saying, but I'm talking about his ideals. I don't actually want to be Robespierre. Alright? I want to be Eli Dinkelspiel. But more importantly, yeah, like he was very much about populace.
Get in there. It had to be done.
And I'm not sure what happened just there.
I could put them
60 seconds remaining.
You know what? I'm not gonna play this game after this because this is taking too much focus. But I'll play something else. But play some Skyrim or something. But anyways, I think I agree with you. No, I think you're underestimating the amount of hatred
30 seconds
people have for
remaining.
social justice. Like, look at Black Lives Matter, for example. I don't know. Anyways, he was very. He wanted to bring about a true revolution in everything the way things are done, and I'm inspired. I'm inspired by that because I hate myself. And I'm gonna make this screen. But let's see what else can we play. Oh, we can play some Skyrim. Hold up, I'm gonna pause for 1 second. So, well, I think the thing, what you are saying, what I haven't articulated yet because I've been distracted, like I have not discussed myself at all, is that he wanted this, to truly purge society of elements of, anti-liberal sentiment. And I don't want to kill everyone, but I feel like I honestly feel like at this point, the only reasonable way to improve this country that we live in is to reject this, marching in the streets kind of thing, and instead glorify rioting in the streets in a way. I don't want violence, but I want this like outpouring of emotion, of anger. I want to be more like Malcolm X and less like Martin Luther King. And they're both ways have merit, but I just feel like the fact that we came to a place where Donald Trump is president means that we not only have failed in a sense of the dialogue, like there's no point anymore to like pretend that we can convince all these people. We can convince the people who voted for Trump are just confused, that kind of thing. I think what happened is, okay, you know what I'm saying, dude. I'm talking about the ideology. All right, I'm not talking about actual accomplishments. I wanted actual accomplishments. I'd go for FDR, or someone else. But the fact is, I think we in this country, liberals have this, we have this. We're not fighting on the same terms as conservatives. And oh fuck that guy. Anyways, the fact that we're not fighting on the same terms is like, yeah, why? So I'm saying, like, ideologically, I'm more aligned with Malcolm X than what's his name, FDR. But functionally, I take more for what I think we should do on a day-to-day basis. FDR. Once we are in government, we should emulate FDR. But once we're out of government, we should emulate, Malcolm X. In that, we have to recapture the anger, you know, the sorrow, the camaraderie, all this stuff about the... I'm fucked. Okay, I can't take this on. Let's do another quest. I don't want to do any of these things. Sure. Fuck is this place? Yeah. But like, I'm not explaining myself well. Robespierre, Robbie, how about that? Truly believe in this like eternal revolution kind of thing, and I think, and Lenin also, you know, co-opted that. Lenin and Trotsky co-opted that fairly for, you know, this desire of spreading into other, you know, their ideas of socialism in other countries. I don't think we should be, you know, forcing our brand of liberals in other countries, but I think internally we have to never be satisfied with the status quo, keep pushing for more freedom, keep pushing for more rights, and fight until people are free, which will probably never happen. But also fight to make sure nothing like Donald Trump can ever happen again. And it's, in a little way, and in some ways, if you look at things like denazification, which is not really a success in any sense. I mean, for minorities, women mostly. I don't, economic freedom, not my concern, but like I think it's so weird that, I think it's so frightening that the president can basically be a rapist, right, and self-admitted rapist, brag about it, and then people think they don't care. I think it's incredible that the president can just like, Donald Trump can just lie about whatever he wanted, and, you know, latch onto this revisionist history that I think liberals allowed to spread. For example, you know, one of the major failings of the Civil War was, where the fuck is this guy? Is that post-Civil War, you know, the Sherman's March to the Sea basically did nothing but make the South hate the North. And afterwards, you know, all the racists, you know, realized they could, you know, make up this, you know, this South that was ruined by Sherman or whatever, and ruined by the North, and that it still exists today. And this idea that like 50% of kids believe that the South was, yeah, I know, but I'm saying, but if you, there are monuments to Confederate generals in Union states. There's 50% of kids in the country, more than 50% of the country thinks that this Civil War is about states' rights. Like, we need to, instead of validating this, like, how the fuck does I do this? Where is this guy? Did I kill him? It's possible. Oh, that's out. There we go. It's a myth. What's a myth?
Ah, good to see you again. How'd that delivery go? Quite a climb. Anyway, much appreciated.
Holy shit, you gave me some money.
Take this for your troubles.
That's right.
Thanks again for the link.
Alright, let's go in this place. I'm assuming you meant by what's a myth? I assume you mean that the South, it was about states' rights, and we all know that's a myth. But, in fact, the Confederacy was more restricted to states' rights than the Union, because they wanted to avoid a repeating of Dred Scott. But my point is that the failure of liberal America was that we let this myth continue as or deprioritized it because it was, their history, and we don't want to interfere with their history. And you have to walk a very fine line. But at some point, you know, what happened was the Southern strategy, and Donald Trump, you know, took that to new levels where yeah, exactly. So Donald Trump, you know, probably realized more than anyone it's latent racism all over the country, and how that spreads is just like these myths of you know, things are great, you know. Well, there's the myth that, oh, hello. What do you want, bro? I'm good. Sick. What really fucked us up was the spreading of these myths, and talking about Southern strategy, talking about, you know, the kind of the glorification of the Nazi efficiency, or like this idea that totalitarian governments are like super efficient, and they're definitely not, as we all know. Sick. All right. And like, we have to step back and say, you know, I think the intellectualism or whatever, and the willingness to put up with some of the worst myths that the Republican Party intentionally propagates in order to, you know, further political agenda. Oops, I'm fucked. Oh, that's bad. In order to further a political agenda, the fact that we've like tolerated that has been these people really do not want me to come in and do that. Has been the main failure of the liberal movement, and now we're stuck in this position where like half the country just lives in a reality that's totally lives in a world that's totally divorced from reality, doesn't give a shit about other people. And I think we have to combine better education and like prioritizing. Oop, am I fucked? I might be. Oh, I'm fucked. But we're stuck in this position where I feel like some sort of pseudo-revolution, you know, at least of our own party, is what's needed, and we need to. And I'm not saying Bernie Sanders, you know, this is not because of Bernie Sanders, but I think it's because whatever we have just clearly isn't working, and if that means, you know, kind of losing our own. I want to get out of here. Okay. If that means, you know, kind of banning this intellectualism, which has been a staple of liberalism for a long time, and moving, you know, into the streets again, I'm all for it. And I think what it can mean is, in more harsh terms, is like a complete abandonment of, you know, instead of trying to like, you know, doing what the Republicans are doing, which is instead of trying to like make sure that, you know, people in Kentucky who voted, you know, overwhelmingly for Trump or whatever, you know, are get the most, the stimulus package, we have to realize that what may be most effective is just like let people suffer under Republican governing, Republican governing, and do what the and what the Republicans did, which was take upon perceived slights and make it our policy to proclaim at the top of the mountain, Donald Trump is an evil rapist, basically, and I felt like kind of like that in the debates where, and this was an intentional strategy, where they in the debates all the Hillary Clinton avoided like really coming head to head with Trump, really going on and on, saying he's a thief, saying he's a sexual harasser, instead kind of alluding to it. And I think we need to go the opposite direction, because the only way we can win nowadays is
When are we going to see some
to
action? Yeah.
channel this, French, going back to the French Revolution, channel this like suppression of anti-revolutionary ideas. Stop treating this like a debate and treat it more like a war. And it's going to be very hard to, I wonder as well. That's a good point. It's going to be very hard to balance these things. That was the problem with Robespierre. Like, it was basically impossible to balance, legitimate. Where the fuck am I? I don't even recognize this. Whatever. Oh, I forgot I had these. I had shouts. Fug. It was impossible to balance, true suppression of anti-revolutionary elements to straight up dictatorships. But now that we have the access to these modes of communication, like the internet, right, where you can disseminate information so quickly, you don't need to oppress these people. What we need to do is get so much more aggressive, so much more loud. We need to be as loud or louder than the Trump supporters. We need to be the ones shaming people for voting for Trump. And I think that's what Robespierre was right about. He was right that there is an active conspiracy among, the moneyed classes, the ones in power, and, the selfish people to oppress any sort of change in the world. And I think that's true in America nowadays, because what I've seen is we can't trust anyone on the right anymore. Like, any hope for dialogue is pretty much gone. And the sooner we recognize it, the better we'll do. And those are my thoughts. Okay, what does this thing do? Who knows? Yeah, I guess that means, Joe Biden would have been a better candidate. And I don't necessarily think Bernie would have been a better candidate, and because of that. Like, I'm saying Bernie would have done the same thing as Hillary. I don't think he would have, attacked Joe Biden, attacked Trump, and, goaded him and baited him. But Joe Biden would have, like you said. And it's less about actual policies than attitude, I guess. Alright, that's all I have to say, because I'm rambling, I make no sense. Alright, I'm getting off now.